Okay, so we know about the Nephilim, and we know about the fallen angels. But what if we're missing a key factor that ties into the history that we learned in school as kids? Let's talk about dinosaurs. Now, I 100% believe that dinosaurs existed. There's no denying that fact. I mean, their bones are buried all over the earth. But do y'all remember when we covered that petrified giants are hidden all over in plain sight? What if both the Nephilim and the giants existed at the same time? Now, in the Book of Enoch, we learned that the fallen angels mixed DNA and created hybrid creatures while they were on Earth, right? What if some of those hybrid creatures are actually the sea monsters that we suspect exist today? The Leviathan, the Megalodon. What if all these creatures are directly linked to the tampering of God's intended DNA from the very beginning? And I'm going to ask you guys a really creepy question. What if the reason that those creatures that existed before the history that we know of can reach the bottom of the ocean and we can't is because they are demonic entities, and at the bottom of the ocean is really where hell is? I'm not gonna lie, y'all, I truly believe that the ocean is a domain full of evil spirits. And that's why so many of us have thalassophobia, or whatever you call the crippling fear of the ocean. I think that weariness was put deep within us because we aren't meant to go that far. And maybe that's the reason we're unable to discover so much of it. What if God knows that our mortal eyes couldn't handle what we'd find? While we're on that topic, let's talk about 2020, when some of the ice in Antarctica started to melt, and scientists discovered a 300-mile-long ancient river. And they literally admitted that they were terrified to see what would come out because it had been there for centuries. And also, are we going to talk about the multiple ocean fires that were completely unexplainable around the same time? Or the fact that sea life was fleeing their natural habitat in packs for an unknown reason? This is a big one. Did y'all hear about the Leviathan head that they found on Google Earth? Or the fact that it's literally moving around the globe? Or the fact that shortly after they found this, the US government started detonating 40-ton bombs in the middle of the ocean but didn't tell anybody why? Kinda seems like they're practicing in case something were to emerge from the waters. Could this be the kin of the Nephilim rearing its ugly head back out of history? You guys tell me. As always, make sure you guys like and follow and comment down below what you think. Alright guys, so now that we have covered where sirens originated from according to the Book of Enoch, I want to visit mermaid TikTok for a second, / siren TikTok, and tell y'all my Caribbean family dark history when it comes to sirens. Now, I'm Haitian, okay? And I promise you, most of the people from the Caribbean, I'm talking Trinidad, Jamaica, Haiti, the Dominican Republic, many of these people that are actually from those countries can attest to the fact that sirens are real. I don't know about y'all, but when it comes to me, I believe that whatever is mainstream is really just sugar-coated truth. And no one can convince me that sirens do not roam the ocean. Taking out the sightings that people have seen, okay, a lot of people are like, oh, that's fake. Can we talk about that fisherman that was in the middle of the deep, dark ocean on his boat and he heard this screeching? And it wasn't a whale, y'all. I'm telling you it wasn't a whale. Like, it just sounded otherworldly. Another reason I believe this to be fact is how can all of these different places have the same rules when it comes to the water? Do not swim at night and don't wear anything shiny into the water because that is an invitation for these evil sirens. Now that we have covered that, I'm about to tell y'all something that happened in my family, and I am convinced that my uncle was taken by a siren. Okay, so my family, like I said, is from the Caribbean, Haiti. Now, my grandmother had 12 children. 2 of her kids looked almost identical like twins. My aunt and my uncle, who is now deceased. He is the main character of this story. So my uncle was an amazing swimmer and he loved to be in the ocean. Anytime that he could, he'd be on the water. And it was one night that my grandmother told him he could not go out on his friend's boat because it was at nighttime and it was dangerous. But he decided he was gonna dress in my aunt's clothing and her jewelry and everything that she usually wore to disguise himself as her so that he could sneak out and my grandmother wouldn't know. Mind you, he is on punishment at this point. It's not only the fact that it's dangerous, but he was also in trouble, so he wasn't able to leave the house. Now my manager walking out like, what are you doing? I'm making a TikTok, duh. Anyway, like I was saying, so he sneaks past her and was able to go with his friends out on the water. Remember the fact that he is an amazing swimmer. He ends up jumping into the water and going for a dive. And all of a sudden, also it's really loud in the background because I'm standing right by the street. All of a sudden, boom, he's gone. None of his friends can find him. I'm talking about vanished, like he was never there. They look and look and look, and the night goes on, and then they have to go and break the news to my grandmother that he is nowhere to be found, and his body didn't even wash up on the shore. My grandmother went to the ocean every single night with a towel waiting for him for, I want to say it was months, hoping with all her might that he would emerge from the water and she could have her baby back. But he never did. I want to cover a couple of things. A lot of people say that he was swept up by a whirlpool because, as y'all know, Caribbean waters are crazy and whirlpools are very common. But I'm sure living in Haiti and being a good swimmer, he was familiar with whirlpools and what to do and how to get out of them. Even if he wasn't, there's no way that he just disappeared without anybody seeing him struggle. Now remember, he was wearing shiny things such as jewelry, and he was in the water at night. I don't know about y'all, but to me, it sounds like he was taken by a siren. I tell all my family this. Half of them agree, half of them are like, it's a reach. But something in me is telling me that the way that he disappeared was just not natural. I don't know, y'all. One thing about me is I don't mess with that stuff. If you catch me in Haiti, honey, I'm staying inside at night. I'm not going into the water. No, thank you. Anyway, y'all, I just wanted to tell you guys about that because I have been seeing so many siren videos, and since we're in the Book of Enoch, I'm like, I might as well share this. Anyway, y'all, as usual, make sure you like and follow and comment down below what you think about this. Did you guys know that Abraham Lincoln admitted the existence of giants / Nephilim? I am dumbfounded. Like, y'all, I was today years old, and this is how I know it to be fact. This is literally a direct quote that came from a speech he gave in 1848. The eyes of that species of extinct giant whose bones fill the mountains of America have gazed on Niagara as our eyes do now. Like, he's literally, bro, it's crazy. This solidifies the idea of petrified giant. Like, look at, I'm literally getting goosebumps. Look at the rocks and mountains around us and how they resemble the human body so much. This only further proves that the Bible is nothing but fact. The flood of Noah happened and giants existed. We are literally living in a graveyard of the Nephilim that existed during the flood. And I got some more tea for y'all. So I was talking to my dad and he told me something so crazy. So do y'all ever think about where demons came from? And yes, I'm saying demons for once in a video. Don't come for me. I know there's life and death in the tongue, but I'm gonna be talking about it a lot, so I gotta say it. I always thought that demons were just the fallen angels, and I left it at that. But yesterday, my dad told me that demons are actually the disembodied spirits of the Nephilim that died. And I was like, okay, how do you know this? I'm going to blow your mind right now. So you guys know how when an exorcism is happening, and usually you can see in the movies that whenever somebody is possessed, they gain like super strength to the point that God has to be involved to tame them. And even sometimes then it's a struggle. The reason why they have super strength is because they are the spirits of the Nephilim, who in fact were stronger than their fathers, fallen angels. That is why God had to wipe them off the earth, because they were a species that were growing and getting stronger at a terrifying rate. Not to mention, if we look in the Book of Enoch, we can see that the fallen angels and the Nephilim were working on mixing DNA and creating hybrid creatures. Like, it was just all around messed up. Now let's talk about Himalayan salt. I have been hearing all over that Himalayan salt is actually petrified giants because it comes from caves that look like this, strangely resemble muscle tissue of a human. Now, these caves are located in Pakistan. So the fact that it's called Himalayan salt is what people are confused about. And they're saying that it's actually in the name Himalayan, like Himalayan on the ground. Now, I don't know, that sounds kind of funny to me, like more of a joke than fact. But if you think about it, it kind of makes sense. I was reading the Book of Enoch last night, guys, and it's literally crazy. Like, I am trying to get as much biblical knowledge as I can to cross-check everything before I make videos on it. But trust me, it's coming. Make sure you like and follow if you like this content, and comment down below what y'all think about what I'm saying in this video.